Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music. We've been looking at where to begin in our music studies, and today I want to talk about chord progressions, but kind of a specific type of chord progression. The circle of fifths, the part of the circle of fifths that's contained within the diatonic series. Well, if that sounds a little bit like word salad, you can think of it like what my teacher called it, the Harmonic Highway. So let's hitch a ride on the Harmonic Highway. The Harmonic Highway. Well, the circle of fifths is a basic concept, and we'll review. But the good news is you don't have to think about the entire circle. We just have to deal with a piece of the pie. A little housekeeping, though, before we go forward. If this is the second or third video of mine you've seen, and things are useful for you, please subscribe to the channel. We just passed 11,000 subscribers. Very exciting for me. I love getting this message out. We're doing music theory that's useful for you. I hope this is theory for everyone. All right, let's jump in. We'll do a little review and then push forward. In any major scale, there are triads, chords, built on each step of the scale, whose notes are taken just from that scale. We call those chords the diatonic chords. And there you can see an example of the diatonic chords in the key of C. C, the 1 chord. D minor, the 2. The 3 chord is E minor, F, G, A minor, B, it's diminished, and then back to C. Take those same chords and now play them as 7th chords. C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G 7, it's a dominant chord, A minor 7, B half diminished 7th or minor 7 flat 5, and then back home again to C. Now, as it happens, those chords have a little more power and push, and they're what we use to build our harmonic highway. I don't know if you noticed it, but when we got to the 5th step of the scale, we got a really interesting sound. We got the G7 chord, whose 3rd and 7th have a very strong relationship to each other. It's called a tritone, and that tritone really wants to resolve. In fact, that is the engine of Western functional harmony. The idea that 5 goes to 1, in this case, G7 goes to C, is so powerful and so pervasive that it's gotten into our ears both intuitively and into so much music that we make. What that means is the idea of the root motion, or in this case, I'm going to go down. It's become a very, very powerful thing. Now, that's kind of cultural, but it's also based on the physics of sound. And it's worth looking this up, but harmony is kind of weird because it consists of 2 parallel paths. One is just the physics of sound, because the 2nd harmonic of any note is the 5th. And then there's also this like sort of phenomenon in Western music theory where the 5 chord wants to resolve to the 1 chord. We can extend the idea. I'll show you what I mean. So if G is the 5 of C, don't you wonder what would happen if we went, what's the 5 of G? Well, as it turns out, D is the 5 of G. Do you remember what chord was built on the D? It was D minor 7. Now, as it happens, D minor 7 really likes to go to G7, which likes to go to C. We've found a little chunk of the circle of fifths. D down to G down to C. Now, what's a 5th up from D? It's A. I wonder if it would work. As it happens, it does. A minor 7 really likes to go to D minor 7, which really likes to go to G7, which really likes to go to C major 7. I'll talk it through one more time, and then we'll just listen. A minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C major 7. We'll do it again without me talking. What's the 5 of A? The 5 of A is E. E down to A. We're going around the circle of fifths using the notes from the C scale. E minor 7, that's the chord from the scale, is the 5 of A minor 7, is the 5 of D, D minor 7, is the 5 of G7, and it takes me home to C. We could continue doing it. The 5 of E is B half diminished, goes to E, A minor to D, G7 to C. I've just created a cycle of root motions that are all in fifths and whose notes are only in the C scale. B is the 5 of E, which is the 5 of A, which is the 5 of D, which is the 5 of G, which is the 5 of C. The harmonic highway is a portion of the pie that's the complete circle of fifths. If you kept going around the circle of fifths, you'd get all of the notes because every note is a fifth of its neighbor. And at some point, you'll get to the end of the circle and it will close and it will start all over again. It's kind of like one of the beauties of the physics of sound, despite the fact there's a little what's called a Pythagorean comma that has to be inserted to make it work. And that's not for discussing today. But listen, chunks of, any chunk of, that harmonic highway can sound good. So let's take, for instance, E minor, A, D minor, G. I'm not even going to go to C. This is a kind of a Latin sound. Let's resolve to C. I said I wasn't going to resolve to C, but I had to. Many pop songs use only 3 or 4 chords in a circle, don't they? Almost all of the chord progressions we like, admire, know, love, have relationships that can be stitched into the idea of the harmonic highway. And many, many pop songs have taken advantage of it. It's kind of an old-fashioned sound in a way. For instance, something that goes 1, 6, 2, 5. Sounds a little hokey to us now, doesn't it? But in the 50s, this, which was 1, 6, 4, 5, which also sounds a little hokey to us, was directly related to that. 1, 6, 4, 5 are the same chords that we use in the axis chords. We've just rearranged them. 1, 5, 6, 4. Same chords, just different order. The harmonic highway is kind of everywhere, and it's about the circle of fifths. It's about a certain portion of the circle of fifths, 7 notes, 6 notes, depending on how you look at it. Every scale has this built into it, and every scale and every circle of fifth chord progression is basically built around the idea that it's a very powerful idea that 5 goes to 1. I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe, ding the bell, and you'll be notified when I do my videos. I'll see you next time.